I thought I'd make this first video about showing off my pride and joy. This is my 1991 Mazda Miata LS1. It has a 5.7 from an LS1 5.7. This is from an F-body Camaro. I bought this as a project car, and since then has gone through a little bit of revisions. Obviously, right now it's going. We're reassembling. We actually rebuilt this entire engine over the winter, as well as the transmission. I did not personally build the transmission, of course, but I did rebuild the engine. It's been a really awesome build, though. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of unique things about it, and it's definitely a cool, unique car per se. I'm going to kind of go over a few of the basics on it. So first off, right now I'm kind of in the middle of, redoing all the wiring. I really kind of have loved that tucked wire look. It's very difficult to pull off, as I'm learning now, but I'm definitely doing my best. Right now I'm going through and rewrapping all these wires. This is the, I wouldn't call it the Harbor Freight Special per se, but it's pretty close to it. This is the Harbor Freight conduit tubing. You can see right here. Have a lot of that, and then we've gone over that in actually nice high heat electrical tape. Kind of just gives it a little bit more of a clean look, a little bit of a nicer look, especially around these areas right here. We actually, these are 243 port and polished heads by K8 Tech. K8 Tech did a phenomenal job with this. I could not have asked for better looking heads with the valves. These are actually sodium filled valves, so nothing, no race ones, anything like that. With the BTR titanium with stainless steel retainers, the 6.6 lift, with the BTR Stage 3 cam. The BTR Stage 3 cam is new this winter, so I've actually only turned it on once since then, just to make sure everything was good, but it's brutal. It's so nice. I actually came from the Texas Speed 232 or 228, the 228R cam. That was nice. It was actually a really good cam. It didn't really add much in the performance section. I think we were making like 343 wheel horsepower with that when we had dynoed it. This new BTR Stage 3 is significantly more aggressive. The biggest takeaway from that before is we were actually using 2¼ inch custom exhaust. Way too small for this V8. It was choking it up. We had a giant muffler on it, and we've since changed that to a 2½ inch one with a 3 inch open in the back. So after the muffler, it changes to a 3 inch with a lot less restricted muffler. These are Sanderson block hugger headers or exhaust headers. And then we just have an LS6 intake manifold, no fast LSX1, anything crazy like that. This is a CTSV accessory line with a CTSV power steering pump. Power steering to me is really important. This isn't just a track car to me. This isn't just an autocross car. This is a fun car to drive on the weekend, and I really needed that power steering for there. So that's a big significant gain to that. So yeah, we're reassembling this all right now. We have the painted valve covers. That's just kind of spurred between you and me. But yeah, it's a lot better now. We were able to rebuild it. We had no idea when the last time this was rebuilt. It was really nice to dig into it and actually see that it was in really great shape. So we were able to keep those stock pistons. Last year at the Woodward Dream Cruise, I was doing a burnout. I floated a valve and bent the valve. So it has been down since then. I have since replaced all that. Luckily, it did not do any damage to the piston surface, so we were all fine there. And we just kind of turned it on just to make sure that all of our head gaskets were good, that everything all the way down, no leaks, no oil leaks, anything like that. We actually did have a small oil leak. I figured that out though. The oil pressure sending unit there in the back, I had replaced that with an aftermarket one from GlowShift, so I can have a real honest to God oil pressure sensor on the inside. I'm actually still using the stock Miata interior, and we'll go over that in a second. But I'm using the oil pressure sending unit right there, and I have that hooked up to the one inside the car. So now I have a real gauge with accurate number, as well as a kind of a dummy gauge. It doesn't really give the best information from the Miata dash, but it still adds that stock aesthetic. Actually used to have 100% stock interior, including a stock Miata shift knob and shift height. So it was a real kind of sleeper. Stock seats, stock everything. All the gauges worked. It was awesome. But we kind of changed that around, and we'll get over that in a second. The next thing we'll go over is, the fueling system. We're using the LS6 intake manifold, like I had said, with 42-pound injectors from Bosch, I think. We were actually at the squeaking edge of our fuel system, even with 22R or 228R cam. So the upgraded fuel pressure, or the upgraded pressure, will be a lot nicer on those fuel injectors. We're using a Mishimoto 3-core X-Race. I'm on the Team Mishi thing, so I got the discount for that. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Don't let anyone tell you that you need to buy the $700 V8 Roadster, their crazy radiator with the fans. I will show you guys what it looks like. It's fine. It's The 3-core right here, this is with the extra fans. These don't actually have a crazy performance bonus, but they're a lot thinner. This is so much thicker that if you use the stock fans in there, it won't actually fit. And I've used the gold tape from Mishimoto and a lot of different friends in the car in the high heat, but I use this more as a sealer. Obviously, air will take the path of least resistance, so giving it this will actually kind of let that air make sure it goes through the fans and not through any of the cracks or seams in the car. This is a significant performance gain for us when over anything else. I didn't really see the need to spend several $100s on buying something where Mishimoto makes a product that actually does fantastic. I never had an overheating issue, and I once sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic with hundreds of other loud cars during the Woodward Dream Cruise, and it never overheated on me once. In those 5 hours, I was doing burnouts, all that kind of stuff, and never let me down. And that was with just Prestone coolant, so not even water wetter and water. That's why I'm running that right now. Water in the block, obviously. I've kind of emptied out a little bit. So that's been great. We had looked into running a different radiator, just so we could run something a little bit bigger from Mishimoto, but it requires a lot more fabrication work here. It's not something we're really into doing right now. We have cut the front to run the LS6 intake straight down, so the actual Corvette intake, which will look great. We do have a couple bars to weld in here to kind of make our own bash bar, and that'll be kind of the next on our project docket. Nothing too special going on here in the rear end. This is a Blackbird Fabworks clear acrylic wing. This is a test trunk right now. We have gotten a new trunk right down here that we're going to mount this up to. So we're kind of just test fitting it right here. The reason we went with the clear one over like an APR wing or something like that is A, cost. These are a lot cheaper and they provide almost similar downforce. Well, not quite to the same level, but you know what I mean? And B is that we lose a lot of rear visibility. This allows me to still see out my rear window when that top is on. The APR wing, you kind of lose a lot of that, especially in solid mounted seats. If you've ever been in that, it's really difficult to see your blind spots. Since this is still street driven, I want to make sure that I'm safe and that my passenger's safe every moment possible. This doesn't have any airbags or anything like that, so our first line of safety is going to be me being able to see the actual problem. So that's kind of why we run that. It used to be pretty sleeperish. Like I said, we had a completely stock interior, stock shift assembly, everything like that. So we have some pretty mundane pipes down here, and you can kind of see like that. I haven't chopped the bumper or anything, but these are pretty narrow. You can see the 8.8 rear end from there, from a Thunderbird, and then we're running a completely custom exhaust here. You can see how big that muffler is, though. It's huge. Stock rear brakes and the eBay of eBay suspensions with upgraded springs. They worked for last year. It was a temporary solution that ended up actually working pretty well. I actually do now have VMAX suspension. It's over there. I just haven't gotten to suspension and brakes yet, as well as Will Wood big brake kit from Flying Miata. So it's getting a huge suspension increase. It's getting better brakes. It's honestly the first thing I should have done, but I didn't do any power adders till now. And the rule is always safety first, then handling, then power. So while the power is in first, it's just because this car is not driving currently. So that'll be the next on the list. We're getting there. We just got the new upgraded rotors for that as well. They're 2-piece rotors. So those will be really nice to put on. Same goes for over here. We do have that Taylor Ray special mirrors. These are those Amazon mirrors he recommended. The old mirrors are really, really bad. Mine would move around constantly with the wind, or if somebody bumped it, like literally like that, it would move it. When you have race seats, it's impossible to adjust your mirrors. Once you're buckled in, you're buckled in. So idea for this is to get these into a nice position for me, because obviously I'm a grown man. I'm not growing any more height or probably waist size for a little bit. So just putting in the location I want, then putting some black silicone in here in order to keep them there. The other mirrors had another issue too. When anytime I'd go over like 90 miles an hour, the mirrors would actually fold in. So I'm pretty sure this is because they were old, crappy mirrors. So it'll be really nice to have some mirrors that don't fold in every time I hit 90 miles an hour, and then have to rechange them back out to where they were at. The next thing we'll go over is the interior of this car. These are SFI rated or FIA rated seats and SFI rated belts. So this is a Sparco Sprint and a Sparco Evo 2. They work fine. Their seats, this seat's a little wide. I think we're gonna have to get rid of it. We're actually running the Boss Rock door bars and then the what's it called? What is this brand? A Hard Dog double diagonal bar. The Hard Dog double diagonal bar is awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. We got this powder coated in orange by Warhawk powder coating, and it's matched down there. We didn't actually run a bar at all last season, which is both terrifying. I've had other Miatas, of course, and I've come to the assumption that this is the best thing you can do for handling is add one of these bars. So we've added that as well as the additional bars down here. Safety is always first though, so the race seats, these are all properly mounted. This one's not actually in right now, but this is all properly mounted down there with properly mounted racing harness, the quick disconnect wheel there. Like I was saying, those stock Miata gauges, those all actually function, including the oil pressure, so that's awesome. Kind of adds a little bit to that stock a little bit one. We have done a radio delete as well as the LRB door cards. The LRB door cards are wrapped with a cool little door handle there. We'll probably put an ABS panel in there. When this is all assembled back up with that, it'll look a lot better. Transmission-wise, this car is running a T56 transmission, also from an F-body. This is the MGW shifter. It's probably the best shifter you can get for a T56. Shift assembly for a T56. It's great. It's a really low profile. For people who don't know, the centering springs are inside the shift assembly for all T56 shifters. So what can happen is that you'll actually lose your centering on it, like mine was doing. You can see how low the centering is there and how fast it comes back now. But those centering springs will actually go bad, and you can actually miss third and fourth gear shifts. It was happening a ton on my other car, so I switched it back to a stock one. Turns out the stock one that I had bought also had shot centering springs, so I'd went a whole season missing in third and fourth gear, which is obviously the most important gears when you're racing. So this would be a huge improvement, along with the built transmission. I did not build this transmission. I had it professionally rebuilt, along with some additional parts for the third and fourth gear. We thought it might as well, while we had it out, to just get that rebuilt, since we had missed so many third and fourths. I wasn't sure if it actually was grinding those gears down or what was wrong there. Turns out there wasn't a lot wrong, but we were able to get it rebuilt at OEM Plus standards. Quick disconnect wheel here. I forget what wheel this is exactly. It's a Momo wheel. These buttons don't do anything right now. I have taken out the horn and everything, as well as the hood release and all that kind of stuff, because it just doesn't fit. Yeah, it's a really nice interior though. Once this is all cleaned up, it'll look a lot better. It's kind of a little bit in our project state right now, but hopefully if you guys stick around, you'll be able to see this make its full maturity back up to the top. We also have a soft top delete in here. We don't need a soft top. I don't drive this in the rain, not because I'm afraid of this rusting or afraid of anything like that. I like to use and abuse my cars, but really it's because it weighs a lot, and it took up a lot of space back here. And I have a factory hardtop, so why would I ever use the soft top? I don't drive this in the rain. It doesn't have traction control. It doesn't have any type of ABS. And it was running some pretty skinny tires at the time, 15x8. We actually have 15x10 Youngblood Racing wheels now. These are really nice. Obviously the tires are shot on these ones. We're getting new tires next week, so that's really exciting as well. So that's it kind of for that interior. Yeah, this is kind of a street track car, so it's kind of set up for both. I kind of want some of those, lifestyle luxuries like a heater. This doesn't have AC, but a heater's nice. We just use a Bluetooth sound speaker whenever we want to listen to music if we're going on a road trip. This car is completely trusted by me. I would happily drive this cross country, especially after all this new fresh rebuild. That's kind of the basics of the car, though. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's a project I've been working on a lot. This has been, the winter project here. Every day is consumed by changing parts out, making parts look better. Right now we're cleaning up these ignition packs for our first startup here, repainting all these back down to get them a nice little color, and then cleaning them. That's what they look like after a clean. This is like halfway through a clean, and they're still, they're a lot cleaner than they look like when they started. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited to bring everyone along for this project, and I hope you guys do, enjoy this build. I hope you guys found that video interesting. I just like talking about my cars. I like talking about other people's cars. I like working on cars. And this is going to be kind of a place for me to do all those things. I want to have a place where I can enjoy the projects I'm working on and show the projects I'm working on, as well as the projects my friends are working on. I have a lot of cool friends that work on a lot of cool different cars, and I'd like to be able to give them a place to show what they're doing and how they do it. I'm inspired by a lot of the people that are, of course, on YouTube, and I want to, do the same thing as them and emulate them in a certain way, and, be able to enjoy my car with my friends and, kind of bring people along who maybe don't get to see those things every day. I live in a great city with the great automotive community here in the Motor City. Everyone's kind of got a cool car. We're not just a hot rod city. You'll see a lot of different cool, stance cars, drift cars, track cars, race cars, low riders, new edge, old edge, all the above of cars. So it's really kind of cool and an eclectic place to live, and I'm excited to show you guys.